Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Okay, welcome back to another virtual upskilling series. Okay, with Segi College Sarawak. So today our session will be related to how do kids learn and play in a safe and healthy environment. Okay, so before I proceed, let me introduce myself. Okay, I'm Josephine Lim. Okay, I'm one of the lecturer teaching early childhood education program in Segi College Sarawak. Okay, and so in this college, we are offering bachelor in early years and also diploma in early childhood program. Okay, so before I proceed to talk about my topic, I would like to all of you to take note for our next upcoming series, which is okay, a talk by Madam Nohayati. Okay, she will talk about myth of mass communication study. So for those who are really want to know more details about mass communication study, please join her tomorrow, okay, Friday at 3 to 4 p.m. through FB Live. And also, we're also going to have another series, okay, which is next week by Miss Candy. She will talk about myths and facts of post-COVID vaccination, nutrition, and hygiene. Okay, so if you want to know more about what will be happen after post-COVID vaccination, so please tune in to her live at 3 to 4 p.m. on 5th of August 2021. Okay, so let us continue. Go back to our topic for today, actually. So as we talk about how children how children in earlier setting, we can ensure them they are play and learn in a safe and healthy environment. So our talk is going to move toward to that, whereby we are focusing on how an early childhood provider, which is a childcare center, Taska, and kindergarten, Tadika, can offer a safe place, a healthy place for the children to play and learn. So our talk content will be related to what is safe and healthy environment, and how we can offer a safe and healthy environment, and how we can ensure the children are in a safe and healthy environment. And can we apply all this at home? Because the thing they want to talk is something is more specifically should be applied when you managing a childcare center, even as a teachers, as a future educators, okay, or a current educators. You need to know what you should do in order to ensure that your children well-being is taken care of, and also how you ensure that they are safe under your care. Okay, so if you look over here at the picture over here, you can see there are two scenarios. So the first one is a very common practice that you're going to see in a childcare center, in a kindergarten. Taking temperature of the child before they entering the premise is a very common practice, and it's a compulsory practice, especially during COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, this is one of the way for us to detect the young children whether they are sick, they are they are fit to join the school session or not. Okay, and this kind of practice will ensure that okay, if the children is healthy, they are fit to join the school, they will able to join the school. If they are not, they will be sent home. Okay, this means the parent need to take them back home and let them rest at home and take care of them. Okay, and if you look at the second scenario over here, okay, if you look at the second scenario, this is where you will see what will happen in a playground. See, this is one of the favorite place of kids. I mean, any kids around the world who say that they don't like playground. My kids like playground a lot. Okay, even the miss playground so much. They like the slide, the swing, everything. But what's the most main concern? We as a mothers, okay, we as a teachers, when you want to send our children to the playground, that is where it relate to the safe environment. We always question: is it safe for my kids to play with a slide? Is it safe for my kids to play with a swing? What will happen if they knock their head? What will happen if they fall down? What will happen if they get hurt? So these are all the kind of issue, the concern that not only parents will have, but teachers also. Okay, teachers also. So like based on my experience as a teacher, it's always be my concern, to when I see my kids so actively play in the center, I always worry about this safety aspect. So these are the things that we need try to overcome, so that to ensure that the children are learning in an environment safe and healthy, because a safe and healthy environment will give them uh, an environment, a learning environment that allow them to learn in optimal level. Okay, so let's move to the next one, which is, this is a question a parents normally ask. Okay, they will ask themselves, as a parents, what will be one of our main concern or worries when we send our child to a childcare center or kindergarten, especially during this pandemic period? So this is a question they always put in our mind, and that is why, if you talk about pandemic period now, most of the parents decided to put the kids at home. What is the main reason? Health issue, because there is a virus outside there that anytime, okay, it can infect the kids, and the consequences, of course, something that we don't want it to happen to our own kids. Okay, so the worry is there. So what we can do in order for us to ensure that the safety and the health aspect of the kids is being taken care of. Okay, that is the responsibility lie on the management of the childcare center and the kindergarten itself. So when you talk about safe and healthy environment, you need to understand what is meaning by safe, what is mean by healthy environment. This is where you can see that, okay, a safe environment is an environment that you will see there is no injury, there is minimal injury happen to the kids. That means they will get injured, or they will not get injured. Even though they get injured, it will be at very, very minimal level. Okay, and this is also lead that environment will offer them no hazard. When you talk about hazard can be a situation, it can be an item, object that can cause harm to the kids. So this kind of hazard we don't want them to have in our environment. Okay, so a childcare center or a kindergarten setting must ensure that the hazard to be removed, because these hazards are the one will lead two children to get hurt, to get the injury. Okay, and you don't want that happen in your center. And the second thing is you need to understand is the healthy. What I mean by healthy environment over here? When you talk about healthy, the thing that come in our mind is cleanliness, hygiene. Because when you keep your hygiene in practice, okay, you can avoid yourself not to contact any disease. Even though you contact a disease, it's going to be a very mild one. So cleanliness can be one of the aspect that way you need to emphasize on, because we want a healthy environment which is clean and there is no disease that transmit from one kid to the next kid. Okay, and if we talk about disease, actually for early child period is a very normal period for children to get sick all the time. So in some point we cannot stop kids from get sick. Okay, they need to get sick in order to build their immune system. But what we need to do is not to spread it to the next and next children. So because when you spread the disease, the cycle will continue. So you will see the whole year the kids will have running nose nonstop. You will see the whole year, every week the children will get flu, will get fever and so on. So we don't want that to happen. Okay, they need to get sick, but at the same time, okay, we need to stop it from spread to other kids that maybe that have a very low immune system. Okay, so that's why the goal for us to have, okay, this healthy and safe environment is We want it to, to offer, children a safe environment because we want to keep children safe. And next one, we want to promote children well-being. Promote children well-being. So this is our main goal, not only for teachers, for principal, even parents also. Is always in our mind to make sure when the kids go play outside. I hope that they play safe. They are in a safe environment, and we talk about well-being. They are healthy. And that's why how we can offer a safe and healthy environment to them actually very easy. It's a very easy. Okay. One of the things that we always neglect, as a management of a center, there's one thing that we normally neglect. Sometimes there is few center, based on my experience that I observe, they didn't really put this as something is a very important thing to be implemented in the center. So that's why there's going to be a lot of issue that related to safety aspect and also health aspect. So what are the things that we can do in order for us to ensure that the environment and is safe for the children, and where the children can grow healthily. One of the things we can do as a management is create a policy. A policy is a course of action by the child care and kindergarten. So this policy will list down what need to be done, what no need to be done. So in this policy, we will transform them into a very specific procedure, because the procedure will explain to the target group, which is parents and the teachers, even the management, how to achieve it. Okay, so the procedure will transform into a document form. That's what we call as famous word nowadays, SOP. Go to the dining area, SOP. Go to the shopping mall, SOP. So this SOP also apply to the childcare center in kindergarten, and is a very very important document. Because this document will ensure that the kids under your care are safe and healthy all the time. I cannot say it's all the time actually. Of course, there is a period they will get injured. There is a period, they will get sick, because it's a very normal situation for kids. But what we can do is to minimize it to the lowest level. So this document we must put into practices. There is no point for you to have a very good SOP. You put very in detail. Like this, do like this. Make sure wash hand and so on. But in the end of the day, your practices is very poor. The execution level is very poor. So there is no point for you to have SOP if you don't execute it, if you don't practice it. So who going to practice this SOP is, there are two main group of people. One is the teachers, one is the parents. They need to ensure that the execution level is successful. So how you can do that is you need to know what should be inside the SOP. Normally, the SOP will be created by the management. So the management of the childcare center or kindergarten must communicate this SOP clearly to the parents and to the teachers, so that they know what should be done, what should not be done. And this is a very, very important part. So inside the SOP, you will see this thing. The first part of the SOP that related to safe and healthy environment is you will talk about health policy. So what is health policy? In health policy, you create a procedure how you're going to manage communicable disease happening in the center. So when you talk about the procedure, you need to create a procedure how to manage when the disease, before it happened, when it happened, and after. So when you talk about before it happened, you must communicate this thing to the parents. So you must have a very very clear list of what are communicable diseases that may happen in the childcare center. And in your SOP, you need to state, list down all the disease, the possible way how to transmit, and so on. And all these information need to be communicated to the parents and to the teachers also. So that what you can do before which is before this is one of the process that before, and after that during, when there is the communicable disease is happening, is there is more procedure talking about how you should handle it. For example, if chicken pox happen suddenly occur in the center, what should be done? What can you do? What is your action? So this is one of the procedure you must put clearly in your SOP so the teacher know what they need to do in order to avoid this thing spread to the other kids. So when they know the procedure to handle the chicken pox situation in a very effective way, then you can ensure that the disease will not spread to the other kids if you have a very clear procedure how to handle it. That is when it's happened, what you call is during, when there is a kid suspected to have a certain disease and so on, how you should handle it. So the procedure must be clearly written. And also you need to have another procedure how you should handle a situation after it happened. After the chickenpox happened, what you need to do. So you need to create a procedure that way you will talk about, okay, how you should avoid this thing from happening again. How you can put one procedure that whereby the teacher need to make a report about the thing that the incident that related to disease that happening, make into a report so that the management can study back, okay, how we want to ensure that this thing will not happen again. So what way we can try to improve the procedure. So that's what you need to put inside the after the thing happened, and this thing can be stated inside the SOP itself. Okay, the next thing you need to know is health assessment. This is a very important practice. Okay, very important practice in a childcare center, in a kindergarten. So health assessment is inclusive the health screening. So when we should do our health screening, this is what normally parents will see in the morning when the parent take the temperature. Did it? Oh, it's 36. Okay, you can join. And they will check the body, whether there is any spot, So these are all the normal routine, a daily routine. Every time during arrival, the teacher in charge would check the children health, general health, again, in the term of temperature, in the term of any kind of spot on the body, in order to ensure that the children are fit to join the center. So this is one of the procedure how you can do health assessment, and you need to put this procedure into your SOP by saying that, okay, teacher must check the children during arrival time. So you need to list down what the teacher need to check. So this is what are the things that you can put in your SOP. So another thing that which is you can put part under health assessment is how you should handle a situation when a children just want to enroll to your center. So this is totally a new student. So what you can do about health screening part on this? What, of course, you cannot be like a doctor to check the heart, everything. What you can do is you must make it compulsory during enrollment. The parent give you the immunization record, because this immunization record will give you a general ideas what kind of vaccine they already taken that will ensure that, okay, they will not contacted with any serious kind of disease. So that's why in every center that you enter is a very normal practice that they will ask you to send immunization record of the kids, because that is a part of the health policy to ensure that the children is healthy enough or they don't have any kind of issue, okay, health issue and so on. And another health assessment that you need to put as a part of your SOP is for you to ensure that the parent must state whether the children have a specific condition or a specific disease that need attention or not. This one you can put it whereby inside the enrollment form where the parent need to fill in the details about it. Okay. And next one, okay, we move to cleanliness. Okay, this is a part of health policy. So the common word you normally heard is sanitization. So if you work as a teacher before, it's a very common thing that okay, sanitize after play, sanitize after the class, and sanitize this and that. It's a very common words you will see, and that is your common duty. So what is the purpose of this sanitization actually? Because we want to keep it clean. So when you talk about children play, especially young children like toddlers, baby, it's a very common thing they will put inside the mouth. That is where the saliva are, and we don't want them, we never know, whether they are sick or not. We never know. Okay, we never know. So what you need to do is you need to have a sanitization procedure. It must be stated in your SOP. So when in your SOP you need to state when the teacher should clean the classroom. Okay, when the teacher should sanitize. Is it before the class, after the class, or after play, and so on? This is also include assistant teacher if you have assistant or caregiver that going to assist to take care of children when they should sanitize. And when we talk about cleanliness also, it will relate to the policy of like changing diaper if you work in childcare center. What is the procedure of changing diaper? How you ensure that okay when you change the diaper, okay, the cleanliness aspect is being taken care of. So one of the things that you can put in your SOP is you must create one diaper changing area. So the diaper changing area is a very important part, a very important part of the infant room, because this is where the caregiver should change the diaper. Because based on my previous experience, okay, this is when I managed one of the childcare center before. Okay, so before I enter the childcare center, the way they do the diaper changing, it was really not hygienic. So it may cause the baby in the room get sick because they can just change on the bed. So it is not a very hygiene practices. So that's why after I come in, I create an SOP whereby they must change the children diaper, the baby diaper in the changing area. So after they change the diaper, they need to sanitize the place every time after one changing. So this is one of the way to ensure that okay, because feces is contain a lot of bacteria, so this bacteria can transfer to the kids, to the baby, if you don't take care of the cleanliness. So we don't want the baby get sick when they are under our care. What we want is healthy baby to be sent back to the mothers and to the fathers. So that's why this is one of the practices that a procedure you should put in your SOP, how you taking care cleanliness aspect in your center. That's why also include washing hand. Like now we need to wear a mask, keep social distancing. This is all a part SOP that can put under category of cleanliness. Okay. Okay, now let us look to the second part of policy that you can create, which is focused on safety management. Okay. So what we can see over here is risk management. So risk management is one of the things that we normally neglect because we feel that some people they feel it's not that important. But actually, risk management is a very important aspect that we need to emphasize, because in risk management we can try to predict what will happen if we do this way, what will happen if we do that way, how we can minimize accident happen in the center. So these are the things can be done by risk management, by you assessing the environment that you set up, the environment, the equipment, the material that you select, the way you arrange your equipment, everything. Is it safe for the children or not? The traffic flow that you create in your center, is it going to cause any kind of accident? So these are all the consideration you should put in your mind, because this is a part of the SOP under risk management aspect. for you to foresee when you set up a place or a classroom or you change certain area, what are the consideration you need to put. So one of the things that you can put under your SOP is you make it compulsory for a teacher to create a safety list. A safety list is a list down, okay, what need to be checked. Either like you can make it by every month check one time or every 2 week one time, whether your class is safe or not, okay, whether the equipment is safe or not to be used. So if any kind of equipment is broken, what's going to be your action and so on. So this one can be figured out through your safety list actually. So the risk management is one of the way for you to manage a situation before it happen. Okay, what people say, prevention is better than cure. So that's what risk management all about actually, for you to assess any kind of risk that children may confront in your center and you remove it. You remove it. And the thing that you remove is what we call as hazard. Okay, hazard. Okay. And the second thing that you need to know that you need to put under your SOP is you how you manage if any accident happen in the center. So you need to know that, okay, you need to inform the teacher what the teacher need to do actually, because normally when accident happen, do you inform to the parent immediately or not, and to what extent that it require for you to inform parent immediately. So these are the things you should list in your SOP so that the teacher can make decision whether they should inform the parents immediately or later. Because some incident, okay, it may be very small only, it doesn't need for you to inform the parent immediately. Because when you inform something that a very small injury to the parents, for parents like me, if I hear that, if a teacher call me telling me, oh, your kid is fall down and she is hurt, huh, what happened, she okay or not, so I get panic. So we don't want that kind of panic attack happen to the parents, especially to the working parents. So they cannot concentrate to do their work. So that's why you need to assess what kind of accident need to be reported to the parent immediately, or what kind of accident can be reported later when during the pickup time. Okay, and then also it's a very important for you to keep one procedure that every time when accident happen in the center, write a simple report about it. Okay, as a management, we can create a template where the teacher can fill in inside the report and tell what is the accident, what is the cause and factor. The purpose of the report is not only for our reflection, but that is one of the way for management to ensure that this thing will not be happen again. Okay, so the same accident should not be happen if we make a countermeasure for the future. So that's why that is the purpose for you to make an accident report if any kind of incident happen in your center. So this is one of the procedure that you need to put in your SOP in a way for you to manage the accident happening in the center. And the third one is the first aid administration. So you need to create an SOP like what need to be done related to first aid administration. So you need to state who should give the first aid. Is it need someone that qualified or not? But of course lah, by requirement, it must be someone qualified to give the first aid, especially like CPR and so on. So this is one of the things that you can try to emphasize. So since it require for a person to have a certificate, to give a first aid, this is when ask the management to send the staff to go and take a training so that they are qualified to give any kind of first aid in case of accident happen. So another thing that under the procedure, the SOP that you need to put is to what extent, okay, to what extent, not to what extent, it's more like how frequent you should check your first aid pack. Because this is the thing that we normally neglect. When we need it, then we realize something is missing. This has happened to me previously when I first year work, during the time that I work as a teacher, because the management did not practice how to keep updating what is inside the first aid. So most of the thing inside the first aid box is missing. So that's why after that, they make a change that every 1 month they will check the supply inside the first aid. So this one can be put in your SOP to ensure that, okay, and you need to put who are the person in charge to take care of this first aid? Is it going to be the teachers? Is it going to be the principal? Is it going to be the management or administrator? So they must do it every month or maybe every 2 weeks to ensure that there is no missing kind of aid in the first aid box. Because when you need it, then when it's not there, it's going to be a very unfortunate kind of situation. Because you, for example, like you need a bandage, but suddenly there is no some kind of antiseptic cream for you to put on the injury and so on. So it may cause the injury on the kids become worse. So we don't want that to happen to the kids. So that's why one of the first aid administration policy, SOP that you need to emphasize is how frequent you should check your first aid box. Okay, so I give you some example of practices to promote safe and healthy environment over here. Okay, this is a very common thing that normally we will do in a childcare center. Wash hand, wear mask, okay, which is in this 2 year, wear mask is one of our very common practice already. Health screening, okay, regular check and first aid item, sanitize the toys, okay, equipments, and classroom rules. Because classroom rule is one of the practices that we can try to avoid any issue related to the safety aspect. Okay, so we have this policy, we have this procedure, we have this SOP thing. But how can we ensure that the children are in a safe and healthy environment? That is when, remember just now previously I talked about after SOP, the document, we must execute it. That is what we call as your practices. Okay, so first of all, for management part, one of the main responsible of management is to communicate it to the parents. And how they can communicate it, create a parent handbook to include all the important SOP a parent needs to know. For example, if the child is sick, they should not send the child to the school, and they need to follow that. And communicate to the teachers. This is one of the things that always be an issue also. When the teacher not really know what to do, if you don't communicate to the teacher don't know. So when they don't know, they will make excuse, oh, I don't know I should do this, or I don't know I should do that. So that's why it must be communicated clearly to the teachers also. And not only teachers, even other staff related to their duties, something related to their duties. If inside the procedure is something related to the duties, please make sure you already communicate to them clearly what they should do, what they should not do. Okay? And the second thing that how you can ensure the children are safe and in a safe and healthy environment is abide to the SOP. This is where responsibility is on your shoulder. So everyone must assume the responsibility, must hold the responsibility. What kind of responsibility that you need to hold is abide to the SOP created by the center. So if you abide to the SOP, then there will be less issue related to the safety and safety and health aspect. So that's why these are the two things that you must, as a management, they must communicate. And as a teacher and parent, they must be responsible. Okay, hold the responsibility to abide to the SOP given by the center. Okay. Now, one question that we can ask to ourselves is, if you ask to the parents, if the parent want to ask, can we apply this at home? I would say yes and no. Okay. Yes, some of the things, yes, we can apply. But some of the part, of course, we cannot apply. We no need to create a very specific book of SOP and give to your husband, oh, hubby, you need to do this way and this way. I don't think it's necessary for you to create in a documentation form. But some of the practices you can apply at home in order for you to offer a safe and healthy environment for your kids. So how you can do this is, what are the practices you can do is assess your child health, because this is very common practice I normally do to my kids. For example, like I will always check the temperature. Normally, I will check just by touching the forehead. When I feel that the forehead is a little bit warmer than usual, that is where I will check using the thermometer to confirm my suspicion whether they are sick or not. So this is one of common practice as a parent to check the children health. For me, I will do daily basic. I will check whether my kids is having any kind of like symptom or any kind of issue related to their health or not. It's a very common practice, for me. So that's why I will. This is the thing that you can try to apply as a parent at home. And another thing you can do as a parent is keep it clean. You mean your house, the toys that you let them play, even your whole environment in your house, keep it clean. You can do the sanitization also at home. And next one is risk management. Risk management you can apply at home. You need to look at your house. What are the possible corner? What are the possible area that may harm or may cause injury to your kids? So when you know which area is going to be danger, either you close the area or you modify it into an area that is safe for the children to go to. So that's why, like in my case, I make an open space, which is I reduce a lot of furniture in my home because my kids, all of them in a very young age. I have a kids from 3 years old to 7. Okay, so they are very active kids that like to play and so on. So in order for me to ensure that they are safe to play at my home, I always foresee what are the things that can cause harm or can cause injury to them. So I will make a assessment on that, and that is where I will try to find a way how to make sure this will not be happen. Okay, and the next one is the first aid administration. So at home you need to prepare a first aid box whereby you can ensure that, okay, anytime that if the children get injured or anything that require them to be like where you can find something in the first aid to help them out, okay, as a way for you to avoid the injury become worse. First aid box is something is compulsory for you to have at home actually, especially when you have a small kids. Okay, so if you look at the quotes, when a flower doesn't bloom, you fix the environment in which it grew, not the flower. So this is what our topic all about actually. We are talking about more about, it is not about the kids, it's about environment that we offer to the kids to ensure that they grow in an optimal level. Okay, so that's all for my session. Okay, you have any question? Okay, I see a few questions over here. Where would kindergarten owner go to get this SOP? Okay, there is no official SOP. You have to create it by yourself. You have to refer to certain SOP they can find in Google how certain center do the SOP thing. Because SOP is not compulsory for a center to have, but it is good for you to have it because it will ensure that you are offering a high quality environment to the kids that enroll to your center. Okay. Is there any more question? Hi everyone. Now I can read your comment. Hi Leslie. Hi Edna. Okay, I miss you too. No, of Health normally they don't offer a specific SOP. Even they offer also they will just give a guideline what you need to follow. What you need to do. And normally, if you talk about Ministry of Health, it will go to the guideline given to you when you want to apply a license, because when you want to set up your center you need to go through several agencies. Like in Sarawak you have land and survey, local council, health department, and there is one more department is the fire department. So the fire department and the health department is the one that where they will give a very general guideline. What are the safety aspects that you need to emphasize on? But if you talk about specific way how you should do thing, okay, like how you should change diaper and so on, you have to go and make a study and learn the procedure of changing diaper in a proper way that will ensure that there is no issue in health aspect and safety aspect. And that is where you have to create a very detailed SOP for your center, because there is no specific SOP that you can take from anywhere. The SOP is you need to study what your center need and you put it as a part of policy and transform it into your SOP. Bulan is great. She's so happy. Now she become a farmer. Um, okay, any more question? I want to say I'm consultant, but I do have experience in this because I create SOP for the childcare center that I worked with before. This is where how I train my staff to ensure that they will abide to SOP to make sure that there will be no issue in safety and health aspect. Because when I manage the center, when I just begin to manage the center, I figure out there's a lot of issue happening in the center, especially in health aspect, like how they feed the kids, and how they change the diapers, how they give shower and so on. So it caused a lot of incident happen during the time. So when I look back, that is when I study, okay, how I should minimize this thing. Because my main concern is when the children enter my center, I want them to feel safe. I want them to enjoy the moment at the center and play without worries. So that's why I create an SOP that very specific where every staff have to follow the SOP. Okay. Okay, what is the first step is identify the policy that you want to practice in your center. Okay, so if you look at my slide just now, this is where you can see that I put that several aspects can be set as a policy. For example, you have a health assessment policy. So when you have health assessment policy, what you can do for this health assessment policy. So in your health assessment policy, you can transform into your SOP whereby you list down, okay, during arrival time, teachers in charge must check the children temperature. That is the first step, okay, and all the temperature must be recorded in the attendance book. So this is one of the list of very specific of flow what they should do during the arrival time. So the first step is you must know what is the policy that you want to put in practice in your center. Okay, I can see all. I can see my student over here. Hi, Angel. Angeline, right? Okay. So if no more question, I guess this is going to be the end of it. Okay. Okay. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you for listening to my talk. Okay, and I will see you again. Bye.